this human behavior that is way outside the norm of, intelligence reports and assessments and these long monographs that may or may not actually be effective. I mean, the biggest surprises of the past 40 years, the Berlin Wall falling and 9/11, were completely unseen by any intelligence report. So there is an argument that those intelligence reports are as good as a coin toss.
So I want to come to that point because the very fact that we have an Islamic Republic is a direct result of a failure of American intelligence to see that threat as early as 1976, 77, a failure to inform then President Carter to take the necessary steps to support the Shah and to neutralize that threat. So the United States' track record in Iran for the last 40 or 50 years is abysmal when it comes to intelligence and when it comes to statecraft. And so there's that legacy, number one. Number two, October 7, 2023, the Hamas attack against Israel changed the dynamic entirely. That attack surprised Israeli intelligence, it surprised Americans, it surprised almost anybody watching. Nobody thought Hamas was going to do that when they did it and the means in which they did it. So all of a sudden that forced a recalibration, a recalculation of what's at stake, what could happen. If we wait for an imminent threat till we see actually the sign outside the door, it's too late. So from the president's perspective, to answer your original question, why now, why do this? I believe the October 7th attacks, and it's not at the behest of Israel necessarily, it's the idea that Iran, we know, finances Hamas, subsidizes Hamas, trains Hamas, equips Hamas, provides logistical support on many levels so that Hamas can be what it was, and Hezbollah also. So you have these destabilizing non-state groups in the Middle East wreaking havoc, destabilizing, causing chaos. You're the United States, you're also dealing with a nuclear threshold state. So Iran may or may not have a nuclear weapons program, but they exceeded the 20% enrichment that they were allowed to do under the non-nuclear non-proliferation treaty. They violated IAEA safeguards. They lied. So you take all of this together. This is a regime that can't be trusted, that chants death to America, which is more than Saddam Hussein ever did, and is funding groups that that up until 9/11, Iran was behind more acts of terror that cost American lives than any other state or non-state group in the world. 9/11 changed that, but up until that, the Marine barracks bombing in the 1980s, terrorist attacks throughout Europe, South America,
Embassy.
U.S. Embassy, absolutely, the USS Cole, right? So we've been at war from the president's perspective with Iran since they took our hostages, for which they've never atoned for. They've never been held to account for. So if you take that calculus and then now we're in a post-October 7th world with a nuclear threshold state, what happened that changed was last year's 12-day war in June created an opportunity, weakened Iran enough and its proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, weakened. If there's an opportunity to finally address this 47-year-old conflict, this was the window to do it. That is why I believe, rightly or wrongly, the president took the action when he did.
That doesn't make it the best window. And that's what we're being told, is that it was the last best window.
I don't think it was the last best window, but it was a window, or at least from their perspective, it was a window. You've got everyone weakened. You've got the regime less popular than it's ever been. I mean, we saw the protests in January that led to the bloodbath that upwards of 30,000 people killed on January 8th and 9th. This was, this regime is at its lowest point, both in terms of domestic credibility and soft power and ability to use proxies to carry out its will. Why not strike it now would be the logic.
I mean, I can give lots of reasons why you wouldn't strike it. It's violating international law. It sets a dangerous precedent. It creates instability. There are Americans dead, Emiratis dead, Saudis dead. For what? For something that was already on the precipice of dying itself.